Welcome back to the Weekend Warriors Show Recap Podcast. I am Ty from the Unemployed Architects, sitting down with good friend, fellow musician Kyle Yap.
How we doing, friends?
Here to talk today about his new show, the Pawn Shop series. So, tell me a little bit about it, just anything in general.
So the idea kind of came from originally just being really organic, just walking into a pawn shop, grabbing something off the shelf, and then just recording, you know, a musician kind of talking about the piece of gear that he's got in his hands, whatever it might be, talk about, you know, some song or bits and pieces of it, but not make it anything too formal overall. The first recording was meant to kind of just test the sound, the video, the location, what it's going to feel like, what the show's, you know, length should be, and what kind of content is going to be put in there. So trying to find some musicians, friends, you know, even venue owners or pawn shop owners or something like that to kind of just go in. I think this show is a little bit more polished than I think all shows will be, but kind of every once in a while just do a spotlight performance of one specific artist doing their thing for 5 to 6 songs. But other times would it be just, you know, actual footage of maybe even not as highly produced, but just, you know, a little bit more organic, having just, you know, me and you walk into a pawn shop, get a couple of videos recorded, maybe some, you know, sound stuff like that figuring out, but a little bit more organic to the point where we're just talking about something that we might see in the store, talk about stories that we have from bands past, from projects past, you know, different songs, and ideally focus a little bit more on the original music. But then, you know, if we're just jamming in a store and we start playing something, you know, off the top 40 hits or something like that, which I don't think is necessarily too frequent, but just, you know, organic show meant to be just kind of highlighting different artists in different periods and giving them some content to take forward, because that's one of the biggest things that I think is going to be helping me. That first one being a little bit more of a solo performance, it makes it a little bit easier for me to just have content to then go and say, hey, to these venues, this is what I sound like, this is what I look like, this is what the show feels like. And then kind of use that more for marketing, for branding, for promotion, and all that kind of good stuff. So just good quality content, I think, was the basis of it.
And having seen it, I think that's maybe the best video capture of you ever. I think that's the highest quality, and it's like it's what you sound like live. Like there's nothing, like you're not like overly polished. Like it doesn't sound like you took it to a studio and auto-tuned everything. No, it sounds exactly like you sound live, and very, very high quality audio, very high quality video, and I just think that it was really, really great. Honestly,
I appreciate it, man.
I saw that and I was like, we gotta get you on here and talk about it, because I think that's gonna be huge. I mean, just that alone, even if you didn't do anything else with it, I think is huge for you in general, because just having that content to show people, like, hey, I write songs, so you got a bunch of original, you did the cover, right? You did the Africa, and then you did, you know, you do some cool guitar work, some cool looping stuff. I think it just really, really shows, you know, all the best parts of you as a musician. And I think that's amazing, and you know, it's kind of what we all strive for to an extent, you know,
to distill ourselves down to a product that can be digested in 26 minutes, and, you know, still have people take away what you are, who you are, stylistically and sound wise. And
I think that it was a great performance, and some of the guitar stuff you do on there is very, very sick, especially towards the end. There was a couple solos there at the end, and I was like, you know, I don't know, I don't feel like you get enough credit for being a great guitar player.
I appreciate it. You always hype me up, so
I know, but I mean, sometimes I watch you play and I'm just like, I wish that I had that. I don't know, but
it's funny because we were just talking before the camera about like the finesse of playing versus the brute force of playing, and how those two might have a just different feel, different vibe, but also just kind of different uses, different styles too. Obviously, I like the hybrid guitar, so it plays more like an electric.
Right. You just got the what was that guitar you just?
It's the Fender Tele Acoustasonic, I think is what it is. But I've been just loving it. The low end. I didn't use that on the show. I didn't have it yet.
It's not a cheap guitar. That's a nice. I mean,
I
saw it on the wall.
Yeah,
I saw it on the wall because I used to work at the music shop. I saw it on the wall. I was like, "There's no way that's gonna sound good." But I picked it up and I was like, "If you're an electric guitar player, like this is gonna feel great." And you can get a great acoustic tone, which I do feel like some of the other guitars you have lack a little bit of the acoustic tone,
a little more metallic.
Yeah. And but
Yeah.
I mean, that guitar just feels great. You just like glide on through it, and like you were saying, the finesse part of playing, like it's gonna just be super smooth, and that's awesome.
And for those, I mean, ideally, we're not doing 3-hour shows our whole careers and looking into the future, but that was one of the reasons I got is like, if I'm going to play a 3-hour bar show, I don't want something that's, 11, 12, 13 pounds, like a true, solid body electric guitar is. And I'm a smaller stature guy, so I always like the smaller guitars to begin with. So the hybrid ones just kind of fit my style for what I like to do with it. And it's
and
less
I
than
think
7 pounds.
you're kind of rooted in the electric guitar. I mean, your playing style is very like I'm an electric guitar player. And I feel like I try to be an electric guitar player, but I'm just not. Ultimately. So.
Well, I feel like you always you resort to the because it's the Martins that you're using still. Yeah. Like that's the guitar you feel most comfortable with.
Yeah, and everybody has their own their own brand or their own what feels comfortable to them. I've been having a bunch of issues lately though. I've talked about this a few times, but my main thin body black Martin, the bridge started coming up on it, and I've been working on trying to get that re-glued, and it's just been such a pain.
It's been over 2 months now.
Yeah, I know.
Let's just get you someone to do it for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm honestly, I use it at the Shoe Fest thing, and so I've been hesitant to even look at it since then.
Is that the one that broke the strings?
Yeah, and that probably it's the first time I played it in 2 months, so that could have something to do with it, but I don't know. Ultimately, I think I broke the strings because I had the monitors, the guitar volume very low, which was great for my singing. I feel like my singing sounded pretty decent because I wasn't like fighting my guitar as hard. But when I got to the end of the set and I was like really, jamming, I was like, even if I hit my boost, it wasn't enough. So, I started like an idiot just playing like a dumb jock, and one snaps, and then I'm like, I'll just, go hard, finish strong, and then 8 measures later, another one snaps, and then I'm just like out of tune and sounded terrible. I was like, I just gotta stop.
And that's one of those things. It's like it's a show you're looking forward to. It's a little bit more prestigious because it's at a festival. You're getting the spotlight. You're getting the
big stage too. I don't get big stages like that very often.
They feel good though when you get up on them.
And stage I was so. They had like the monitor people and the spoiled. I'm so used to just having to do everything myself. It's like got my stuff my gear all up there in probably 20 minutes, and then they mic'd everything up, and then sound check another 5-10 minutes, and then I was like, okay, well I still have an hour till I play. Which at a festival is cool because you can walk around and kind of see all the different things going on. But it was I don't know. It's just a nice change of pace. But like you were saying, it's you build it up in your head and you're like, I'm gonna kill this. This is the climax of the show. And I was saying the climax of the song and the climax of the show, and I bust 2 strings.
Yep.
Classic.
Yep.
But anyway, so I don't know. But anyway, I'm a little hesitant to. I need to take a look at the bridge. It wasn't looking amazing, even when I played it. But I mean, it was holding. But. Yeah. I don't know. It's just that's the guitar I feel the most comfortable playing. So it's like, I don't know. Every other guitar, feels good, but not. I don't feel like in the pocket quite as much when I'm playing.
Yeah.
The other main Martin I have has a little bit wider neck, so I find myself missing sometimes because it takes a little bit of getting used to.
Things aren't where you're expecting your muscle memory to be, and it's a similar enough guitar that you're like, it should be here.
Yeah, it still sounds great, and I get used to it after about the first half hour or so. But I mean, it takes a little bit of just getting comfortable. But anyway, I digress.
Yep.
But we hope that. The guitar will be back in rotation here soon.
We could just get you another one though too.
I know, but it's I have
an investment. You're going to be a musician for professional. You might as well have good gear.
I have 7 guitar acoustic electric guitars. I mean,
maybe time to thin the herd.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could probably get rid of 2 or 3 and then buy a really nice one, but. I don't know. I had this thing happen when I first started where I gave my guitar to get fixed to somebody, and they had it for almost a year. And every show I played, which wasn't as much as, late.
now.
Yeah, but I mean, it was still like twice a month, 4 times a month sometimes. every show I had to borrow somebody's guitar. And every time the guy would be like, yeah, I think it'll be ready next week. And it just took so long. And it did end up and play amazing after. And it has lasted since then. But, I mean, that
Same guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's part of the reason it probably plays so well is because the guy actually did really good work, but it took him so long.
Yeah.
And then, so, like, now I have this, like, in the back of my head, it's like, I'm never going to let that happen again. So I have a lot of, like, you know, this is my B, my C, D string.
Do you get another chance at redemption? Like, do you have any big shows coming up that you kind of feel like you're going to have a little bit more of a bigger stage?
Not that I can think of. I don't know. Yeah. I'd have to look at my calendar, honestly. But nothing like that. I'm nothing like a festival. I guess I'm playing a festival this Saturday. But it's not as, you know, not as big of a name festival.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I got that guitar, the new one, which I wish was in the show because it's perfect for my style. But I got that more as like an investment. Like, I don't really truly have an acoustic guitar, and this one still isn't acoustic, but it's more acoustic than my last one.
Yeah, I think the tone, the acoustic tone on those, I think, are pretty solid.
Yeah, I got some shows lined up that my wife and I are going down to Nashville for the first week of October, getting some stage time down there and just kind of trying to network, develop, get better, learn some new things, meet some new people. We're staying at this hotel called The Dive, which is a really cool motel that was super retro. But last time she was in town there, she had mentioned that she'd met some people who were just songwriters and that they went and just hung out at this place a lot. So excited to have that new guitar for these shows upcoming in October. So a couple of the dates still getting finalized and which times, but really excited to making those announcements.
You got a couple.
And I use those videos. Yeah, I have a couple guaranteed. One is at Scoreboards. It is going to be the Tuesday, I think October 5th, or 4th or 5th. But that's at Scoreboards, and I'll be playing from 6 to 7 down in Nashville. So I'm excited. It's the first time solo down there.
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
awesome.
in the bands that's played around the area, but never really anything that felt like it was just me, you know, my sound, my style, my name out there.
And again, I do think that that's the great part of the video you did so far, is it really is just you know, it sounds like you, and that it's your songs. It's you know, I don't feel like you have enough of that stuff out there because I've I've showed so many people the Kyle Yap, you know. It's like I gotta show off his guitar playing, show off his singing, and then like I go on YouTube and I'm like, this kind of does it, but this really does it.
I gotta make a lot more of these, and I that's kind of part of the goal too, is to have other artists on that come out and get this opportunity to just show 3 or 4 songs of just the kind of their style, their sound, take away from it. You know, it can be a little bit promotion, a little bit more marketing, help you get bigger, better shows. It's just creating good quality content, and I think a lot of musicians, for example, probably need a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Getting that push to do it themselves, or getting that push to meet the right people and do it the right way, and I think that's what I've been able to focus on this year, especially now that I've been kind of making a transition to coming back full circle to just straight up just trying to focus on nothing but music, which has been a delight. It's been a lot more kind of rewarding.
Because I remember talking to you before you kind of got away from it a little bit, and I do remember you seemed a little on the jaded side, just a little bit.
Quite a bit, I would say. I was kind of a little bit more negative to it. Didn't feel like there was a lot of growth that I could have if I stayed local, but knowing that I was going to be staying local, and just kind of knowing that there was other responsibilities and priorities in life that were going to be taking center stage for a while. And then now that I kind of have a good foundation, you know, family, being able to kind of know that, okay, if Daddy's going to go back to music, I can still support the family. And I think that's been one of the big benefits of these past couple years of me doing other things outside of music, but now making it back to it with a little bit more, I think you said, deeper pockets, but the ability to kind of know that I'm investing in the future of my music, not just everything else that I was doing.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I think all of us get into the just like routine of just playing shows, and not really making much headway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think almost everybody in town knows that you're like really, really good musician. Like, I don't think there's any question. Like for most people, when if I bring your name up, they're like, oh yeah, I know Kyle, he's great. You know, but getting beyond that point, I feel like is tough. You know, I don't know how to break to that next level.
Yeah,
I think the content stuff is one way to hopefully get there, and I think that, you know, that's a good vehicle to kind of at least start getting to maybe that next echelon of, and just, I mean, I don't know, you and I both do the cover thing where we play a lot of covers. When you do a recording like that and you get like your originals out there, I feel like maybe that's going to be like
a baby that you're proud of.
Yeah, and it's a turning point, like I was showing you that thing I did on the TV. I'm going to be getting that out hopefully soon, and that's like a good, just like, that's what I sound like. Those are my songs.
I stole the idea kind of from you. That and the stickers and these conversations, they just have bouncing back of ideas and everything like that. Like the podcast was, as soon as you told me about it, I started listening to. I've listened to pretty much every episode at this point now. Awesome. So I'm one of them. I know you mentioned there's probably 19 people that listen, but I'm one. So we might have 20 now.
I just had to have you on as a guest.
Yeah, to get me to
be a fan.
But so kind of using that as a springboard to, you gotta let people know who you are, what you're doing, and how they can help you. I mean, that's the only way in life that you're really going to get ahead. I mean, if you just kind of put your head down and keep chugging along, sometimes you'll have some success, but it's a whole lot more beneficial if people know how they can help you and what your goals are, making it known, so you're putting that stuff into the universe and hopefully it makes its way back to you.
And there's something you touched on a little bit with so like getting other musicians and like to come on your show and stuff. Like, I mean, I don't have a ton of guests, but usually when I meet musicians or like I talk to musicians, I'm like, hey, if you ever feel like coming on, I do this podcast. And like, it's hopefully kind of gonna build some sort of like more of a community feel.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this on the last time. It's like I always feel like I should do more. I feel like I want to get the younger guys opportunities that maybe I didn't get. I want to get, but building just like a common, everybody good.
I don't know if on the last episode we really talked about the Blue Room Music Collective as much, but that was an idea of people who had home recording equipment and studios, people who were photographers, people who booked shows, musicians themselves, web design. We had some people that were talking about doing screen printing and all the things that a musician and an artist needs to just legitimize themselves, making it a little bit more accessible by having this network of people who know that if whatever they put into it, they're going to hopefully be able to get it back and then some.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the things I'm focusing on in the future, is not just myself, but like you said, how can you help the younger guys out? How can you get some connections out?
I know I gave you props on this last time, but I will say that as far as old, like musicians that are a little bit above me, as far as class, like you're probably just a class above me, I would say, as far as...
You don't give yourself enough credit.
But I mean, you when I came to Bloomington, I saw you playing, and I was like, that's what I need to do, I will say, as far as, people that are, I would say, above me class-wise, and like, as far as helping me, kind of... At least having conversations and like having good talks about like what I should be doing. You are a big, like you're probably the most that's happened. You know,
that's awesome.
And I really appreciate that. And I do always feel like I wish I had a little bit more of that. Just in general from kind of the upperclassmen. But so in turn, I think it's our job to try to be that person maybe for somebody else. And I think that your new show, the Pawn Shop, what do you call it?
Pawn Shop series.
The Pawn Shop series. Getting other musicians up there, getting them a little bit of extra content at high quality, is huge. And I think that hopefully, we can start to kind of get some momentum to, get this like movement of, musicians trying to help musicians. Because the more we're fans of each other, the more we get the word out, cross-pollinate everything.
The more we learn from each other, too. That's another thing. I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons I'm wanting to go down to Nashville, too, is just to kind of see how other people are doing it, see what these venues are the vibes are like, how everyone's opinions of the music industry are. I'm going to try to talk to as many people as I can to just see, what's been your experience down here? How can I help you up in Illinois? How can you help me down here? And
Nashville's always been a little bit of a scary
closed door, so to speak.
It just seems like it'd be so hard to break through there's so many musicians down there.
I feel like that's why you have to have A+ quality content, and I think that's one of the things. So that the Pawn Shop series, the first episode, hopefully it's 6 times a year, which would be every other month, which I think is sustainable long term. I don't want to try to do it every week or anything like that. It would just become, too cumbersome.
Almost redundant. It would almost be redundant too. Yeah. I mean, if you had a new guest every time, and you maybe let them do a couple songs, you do a couple together. I mean, I think there's a show called Daryl's House that does kind of a similar.
I love that show.
Yeah. They bring in musicians, and the guy plays, and he's from some band, right? The
Hall & Oates.
Okay, yeah. So
he had the one I most recently saw, and he's had a ton of people, but he had the band Train, which was adult contemporary music, great songs, a lot of melodies, radio friendly, but they were doing each other's songs, and it was just super neat to hear how Train mixed in with Daryl Hall sounds, with him singing some of the verses and some of the harmonies and choruses and all that.
I do feel like Train gets a bad rap. I think they do a Nickelback of pop. Kind of.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I mean, they get kind of shit on. There's a couple of their songs I really like. You used to do one.
I played
Drops of Jupiter.
Drops of Jupiter.
I always like
Marry
that song.
Me. It's a radio friendly top 40 song, but it's not
catchy.
Because it's not because it's cheesy. It's because it's a well written song with a good melody and it's a good performance. So
yeah.
And it gets used a lot.
They've been around for a long time at this point. I mean, since I was in high school.
I know.
I used to know Meet Virginia. That was back when I was in high school.
25-year-old song probably, 20 to 25-year-old band, I would say. At this point, if they were 20-something years old when they started, and when they started having radio success, they're pushing 50 at this point. So more power to them. They're the ones who have made a career out of it.
Long haul people.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 15, 14 years into it at this point, but can we make it another 30? Another 15?
Another 15.
To make it 30 total.
I don't think I have an option at this point. I think I've pretty much got all my eggs in one basket.
Pot committed is what they call that. So, well, I appreciate everyone for taking a look at the show. It's just Pawn Shop Series. If you go to YouTube and just type in Kyle Yap Pawn Shop Series, the very first episode will be the first thing that pops up. I'm going to try to make sure I have a lot of content coming up over the next couple weeks to fill in.
I mentioned you should definitely release it. Well, you should cut them up. You should definitely release it as a live album on Spotify. And I don't know. I think that it's going to bring you to definitely a next level.
Because I've never, after 15 years of being a professional musician, I don't have anything on Spotify yet. So I think this is the perfect example to got the quality content, get it out there, get started. Have something is better than nothing.
Yeah, so. And I mean, I've said this 1,000 times, but I think just being able to say that you're on Spotify. I mean, in this town, you almost don't even need. You don't need to. You just say you're Kyle Yap, and people are like, okay, we've been in this town. We've seen you play 100 times probably. But when you're sending out to these other places that you don't know your name, just saying that you're on Spotify, I feel like holds some sort of weird weight.
It does.
That maybe the booker doesn't even listen to it, but just the fact, just saying those words, almost will get you a show sometimes.
It's another outlet of getting your content to the people, because that's what the internet's turning into. It's just the content creators having a direct connection with their audience, whether it be through different social media platforms. It's really democratized the system to where you can have direct access to the people who are your followers. So best way to help artists and people that you support is to give them a like, give them a follow, give them a share. The follows really mean more than anything, because it means that you're going to see their content every time new stuff is released. And that's how artists are able to really monetize their content nowadays, is through ads being sold to on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. Once you get to 1,000,
I will add one thing to this. So this is something that I feel like musicians have a tough time with. Okay, so they make all this content and they post it and gets 4 likes or something. Yeah. So my first question when they're sad about that, or like, I just don't get why nobody pays attention, I say, are you liking other people's music at your level and below and above? Are you sharing their stuff? Are you commenting on their stuff? If you're not doing that, how can you expect it's
not a one-way street anymore. It's not just
I'm not saying you have to do it
people to digest it. Yeah,
I'm not saying you have to do it to people you don't enjoy, but I mean, if you like, when I heard your episode, I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, this is definitely maybe one of the best things you've ever done. I gotta share it immediately. Like, there's no question about that. And that's why, again, I'm having you on. I am going to, maybe up in this corner over here, I'm going to put a link at the end of the episode where you can watch the Pawn Shop Series with Kyle Yap. And then got some shows in Nashville coming up. You got anything else you want to promote? Or
not at this point. I mean, KyleYap.com is going to be evolving over the next couple of weeks as I try to get more, like I said, just quality content. So my wife's got a friend that's a photographer. She's going to be joining us down in Nashville, and she's going to be snapping pictures, and we'll go check out pawn shops. We'll go check out guitar stores, different food, just letting people into your life by, you know, showing them where you're at, what you're doing. I mean, the greasy wheel gets the oil, is the old saying. So the more people know, you know, what you're doing and how they can help you, the better off you're going to be in life.
Exactly.
And then also, like you said, making sure you're helping other people around you, on your way. So
yeah, I think that's just you know, universally beneficial kind of attitude to have as much as possible. I mean, I know that there is an extent where you have to be like, okay, my stuff first, but you know, close second needs to be
your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be reaching out to people. You need to be trying to help anybody you can. You need to even share people that don't need your help. You know, you need to be a positive. You know, if you want people to positively enjoy your stuff and do the things, you know, the likes, the shares, the comments, all that stuff, you need to start doing that yourself. You need you need to lead by example in a lot of ways. So, but anyway, is that sum it up? I think.
Absolutely.
All right. So check out KyleYap.com. Again, that episode is going to be up in this corner of the Pawn Shop series, and check that out because it's very, very good. And I think that's it. All right.
Let's go take a look at a pawn shop.
All right. So appreciate it, anybody who takes the time to listen, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye.